Welcome to Unit 6. I love talking to my parents and grandparents. They have so many fascinating stories about the past. My grandparents didn't have TVs or mobile phones when they were children, so they played outside with their friends a lot. What was life like when your parents or grandparents were children? In this unit, we'll look at the past simple form of regular and irregular verbs. You'll find out about the history of the famous Madame Tussauds Museum in London and how the wax models started. Can you tell if these are real people or waxwork models? In reading and listening, you can read about a young fisherman and a very successful businessman. When a businessman met a fisherman is a story about the important things in life. This unit has a video about famous events that happened around the world in the past. In vocabulary and listening, we'll look at words to describe feelings. We'll also look at adjectives ending in ed and ing. Is she annoyed or annoying? Is the journey tired or tiring? What's the date today? In everyday English, you will learn and practice ordinal numbers and ways of saying the date in English.
Do you know what happened in the world the year you were born?
I was born on the 20th of April, 1964. That was in the middle of Beatlemania, when the British pop group The Beatles was really popular. My mum was a big Beatles fan. She had all their records, so I grew up listening to their music. I still listen to it sometimes. It's great.
The four members of the Beatles were born in the city of Liverpool in the UK. In 1961, they played together in a small local club called the Cavern Club. Beatles fans still come to this club today. The Beatles made their first single, Love Me Do, in 1962. And by the end of 1963, they were the biggest band in the UK. They had thousands of very excited fans. In 1964, the band went on tour to the USA for the first time. They arrived in New York on the 7th of February. They only stayed for 2 weeks, but they made a lot of fans. The Beatles returned to the USA in August, and they had concerts in 23 cities. By the end of 1964, they were the biggest band in the world. Do you know what happened in the world the year you were born?
I was born on the 11th of January, 1976. I think that was the year that Concorde started flying. My dad flew to New York on Concorde once, and he talked about it a lot. I remember there was a horrible crash in Paris, about 20 years ago, and Concorde stopped flying after that. I saw one in a museum recently. It was an amazing plane.
In 1969, British and French engineers flew an early model of the supersonic passenger jet Concorde. People were amazed by this beautiful new plane that could fly at over 2,000 kilometers an hour. In 1976, 14 Concorde planes were ready for passengers. They flew from London and Paris to New York. The journey only took 3 hours. But the tickets were very expensive. A lot of people didn't like the plane because it was very noisy. Concorde flew for nearly 30 years, and its last flight was in 2003. Today, the journey from London to New York by plane takes 7 hours. Do you know what happened in the world the year you were born?
I was born on May the 7th, 1981. That was the year that Charles and Diana got married. My parents have photos of me as a baby at a street party for the wedding. It was a fairy tale story with a really sad ending. I remember when Princess Diana died in 1997. I was still at school. It was really sad.
On the 24th of February 1981, 32-year-old Prince Charles and 20-year-old Lady Diana Spencer announced that they were getting married. Their wedding was on the 29th of July. It was a hot and sunny day, and it was a national holiday in the UK. 600,000 people came to London to see Charles and Diana get married. The crowds of people were very excited to see the prince and his new wife, Princess Diana. People celebrated the wedding around the world. More than 750 million people watched it on TV. On the 21st of June 1982, Charles and Diana's first son, Prince William, was born. And on the 29th of April 2011, Prince William stood on the balcony at Buckingham Palace and waved to the crowds with his new wife, Kate. Do you know what happened in the world the year you were born?
I was born on the 21st of March in 1994. That was the year that Nelson Mandela became the president of South Africa. He was in prison for a long time before that. I think he was president for about 5 years. He also won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1993. He was an incredible man.
Nelson Mandela was born in South Africa in 1918. Mandela was a lawyer. He worked against his country's terrible laws. In 1964, the government sent him to prison for life. But the people of South Africa didn't forget him while he was in prison. He became a national and international hero. And finally, after 27 years, he became a free man again on the 11th of February 1990. On the 10th of May 1994, Nelson Mandela and his party, the African National Congress, won the first free elections in South Africa's history. And Mandela became the first black president of his country. Mandela died in 2013, but he is remembered around the world every year on his birthday, the 18th of July, Mandela Day.